Listener.
Good morning, Ammar.
Viewers. Hey, Jalf. Right
you doing?
here. Hey, you're looking well.
Yeah, got a bit of sunshine.
Nice.
A bit of
Where are we this morning?
just that Kai.
Oh, wonderful. But and is the sun shining?
Yeah, the sun is out. At least the physical sun is out. Whether the sun is shining on the economics of the industry, I'm not really too sure, but the sun is out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because anyway, good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
live on our weekly show right here, Spice FM.
And each week we bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, and not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help, and we do help. Gosh, it's yeah, crazy. So one of the big debates that we had, that we regularly have, is the cost of living crisis. And once again, house prices have fallen.
Have they, Ammar? Have they fallen?
Yeah, so let me get the facts right, because it's always important when we make statements like this. Okay, so house prices fall at fastest rate in 12 years, wiping £7,500 off average home amid mortgage crisis.
I mean, it's just, when you look at the market and you look at the prices, when I'm speaking to one or two property solicitors, they seem to tell you otherwise. Maybe the premium property still are holding their value as ever. And
it's like anything, Jeff. And one of the conversations I'm going to come on to have is very much around the cost of living crisis that is referenced and we hear about quite regularly, is what we do. So it's quite interesting.
I mean,
there's a lovely Mithun Chakraborty picture of you on display. Why do you look like Mithun Chakraborty? Is that?
I think you're talking about yourself, Ammar. You look more like Mithun Chakraborty than myself. But Ammar, just on the city centre, I was just walking through the city centre the other day.
Right.
Just walking up the quayside, going up towards Grey Street, noticed that there was a restaurant called Hugo, which opened quite recently. It was opposite, quite more or less opposite Barluga, towards the lower end of it. It used to be there used to be the fish restaurant. It was there for years. They used to do scallops and stuff like that. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, down on the quayside.
Yeah, just towards the bottom.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Well, that recently became, that closed maybe was a few years ago, and recently they opened as Hugo.
Okay.
It's been open for about 6 months, and they're shut down. Go up towards directly, more or less directly opposite Babucha. There was another place called Root, which was in Guide. I think it had a bib gourmande. That's also shut down. And then towards Highbridge, there used to be a lovely coffee shop called Lane Away. That's gone. So in the last 2 weeks, I've seen 3 good operators just shut up shop and close down. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of exactly why they did, but I'm assuming it's down because they couldn't obviously make the business work, and the cost has probably got something to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, part of this fallout, and I don't think you can pinpoint or blame any one thing, but don't forget, you know, a lot of the businesses generally were propped up with COVID loans, with a whole range of schemes. So the business model of those businesses was never looked at in any great depth or detail, and they've come to almost a cliff edge. And if you remember, Jeff, we were talking about cliff edges last year, at the beginning of last year, saying, you know, we anticipate a cliff edge you know, on the horizon based on a number of factors. And I think cost of living or the inflationary factors have undoubtedly influenced what's going on and what's going on. And it's a real shame, but it, yeah, I mean, Newcastle city centre, gosh, Jeff, it could quite literally have been a tipping point given the atrocious traffic challenges that have been introduced.
Of course.
Right? So am I going to stress about parking? You know, even the parking times have changed. Now charging 7 p.m. Now we're charging a bit later. Actually, let's charge a little bit later as well, and let's make it maximum 1 hour. I'd rather go somewhere else. I'd rather go to drive-through. I'd rather drive through McDonald's than worry about coming into town.
I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's as though that the city councils, no matter what they say, I mean, there are conspiracy theorists that talk, and they say that, generally, Ammar, they say that the governments are wanting to make life as difficult as possible for all the businesses, so that, I mean, this is like a wild theory, but sometimes I think, hey, are they actually right?
Well, because I mean, look, at the end of the day, you can, yeah. My
point is, Ammar, they say that they're going to make life as difficult as possible and make it impossible for businesses to thrive and survive and thrive, which I don't understand. But sometimes I feel that that is the case, because why is the governments and the councils trying to make our lives as difficult as possible to run good businesses and provide something unique for our city, instead of them wanting to support the cause and make our life easier and better and encourage people to come into the city centre? Everything that they're doing is discouraging people to come into the city centre. So it just makes you think, what is your real agenda? Can you kind of share that with us? Because we're not kind of getting it. And that's a simple, logical question, isn't it, Ammar? It's not, and we would want to get a good answer.
Actually, look, I mean, look, my point was, I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know so much. But equally, there's push-pull factors, right? So every single local authority in Newcastle, I'm sure I'd seen a statistic. In fact, it was in the Sunday Times a few years ago. Death by pollution, right? So there's been an incredible rise in cancer, in a variety of other illnesses, and some of that has been associated with and to pollution.
What pollution?
What do you mean? What pollution?
Well, I just want to know what pollution.
All right, exhaust pollution.
But I've not. But then they've got those catalytic converters in, haven't they?
No, not all of them. Anyway,
well, of course they have, because that's been in for the last 20 years.
Theory.
I've not seen any. I've not seen any pollution in the air.
So the West Road, back in the day. The West Road's probably one of the worst places in.
That's not pollution, man. That's just litter, man, from all the what was it?
Anyway,
for the
point is, listen, I'm just offering some counter information.
I'm
Because it's
I'm
not an
it's
argument. Okay. Look, listen.
whatever you're offering is not washing.
All right. So pollution is one of the key considerations. There's also, the just trying to get people to drive and less and use less transport. All I'm saying is society has changed dramatically. So last week, right, we touched upon the issues with the building on the central motorway, the arson attack on that building, and the impact of that, more broadly speaking. And last weekend, I ended up at the Metro Centre, and I spoke to a few people there, and it was crazy. And I was like, oh, is it like end of month? They're like, no, everyone's come here rather than going to the town because of challenges with parking and with the traffic.
But are they not suffering from pollution there?
No, because actually the Metro Centre was built in such a way that it allowed for, it's got like 10,000 spaces, hasn't it?
Yeah, but there's still going to be 10,000 cars there, which again, the pollution question.
No, the pollution question isn't about the density of traffic or vehicles. It's the impact of slow moving or stopping congested traffic. So it's about congestion of traffic. Anyway,
stop blocking all the roads and putting in cycle lanes because the traffic flow was perfectly fine until they ruined it, and then they have to then say, oh well, yeah, A, B, C, and I just think it's a joke, and they really need to consult the businesses properly and stop with this nonsense because they are going to destroy more and more businesses in the city centre.
Yeah, so anyway, all I was saying is that it's not just one clear factor. It's a variety of factors, and then coming on to the cost of living and things like that. Yeah, I've highlighted this several times. The amount of people who continue to live the lifestyle that they've become accustomed to feels as if some people are just burying their head in the sand as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I remember many years ago, one of the when the Metro Centre opened, and Sir John Hall, one of his key kind of research that he did was the fact that the Geordies, they kind of live and let live. They get the money coming in on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, and then they spend all of it, and then they go to the next month. So maybe it's culturally that's just how it is in our region. But I just worry that at some point,
to our region. I don't think it's exclusive to our region. No.
Maybe it's not, but I think people like to, fun-loving, joyous people, and maybe that's part of it.
Well, I think you should live your life to the full.
Well, yes, of course, and I think and at what point do you exercise caution? Because when things get really, really tight, what do you do? Do you just stay in? I mean, everyone has to have a level of, they have to adapt, and maybe they're not feeling the pinch quite yet. Maybe as the mortgages go up a little bit more, they'll begin to feel it. But I think maybe it's the in tenancy where they're renting a house and the rent review hasn't hit them and things like that. So I think sooner rather than later, I think it's going to hit everybody, because no one's going to kind of not be affected by it. Inflation is so big, the costs are so high that surely it is going to affect every single person and have a real impact on them.
Yeah, I agree.
To the point where they have to adjust their lifestyle, which is, as you say, they probably haven't adjusted yet, but sooner rather than later they probably will.
Yeah, but when will they do that?
Yeah, it's probably different for each household, isn't it? And it depends, how many people have got a rainy day as well. But I just can't see things getting kind of any. I can't see inflation settling anytime soon.
No.
I can't see, the food cost, the utility cost, going down, because once they're at a position, they never go down, do they?
No, well, and one of the things that the MPs were rightly asking earlier this week was whether interest rates were, mortgage interest rates or lending rates were rising differently to savings interest rates, which allegedly they are, which is interesting, right?
So they've got different rates for saving, different rates.
No, as in what the banks are allegedly doing is putting up mortgage rates as soon as the interest rate changes, but not doing the same for their savings. So the allegation or the suggestion is they are profiteering from this.
No, not the banks, Ammar.
Yeah.
Surely not.
Anyway, you're listening to Ammar and
Jalf.
Live on our radio show right here. We've got Vikas joining us, Jalf, shortly. So looking forward to hearing from him.
Yes, the Masala Festival is up and running. It's the week after next, I think, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be attending and supporting some of those things.
It's really exciting for the city what Vikas brings.
It's it really enables and facilitates inclusion, and it's beautiful to see that is what he does, and he does it. Okay, so what other news stories have there been?
Football, I think we should talk about the football, because we haven't talked about that for a few weeks.
Well, Ant and Dec returned to Baker Grove. Baker Grove.
So
what do you think about that accent?
Well, yeah, you're a proper Geordie lad. Are they? Is it just a one-off show, Ammar, or is it going to be a?
No, I think they're doing a series. I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's get ready to rumble.
What, did that start from Baker Grove? It didn't, did it?
Yeah.
It
That's
did.
where they sang it.
Really? I can't remember. It's so long ago.
Right.
They're definitely the biggest stars out of it, aren't they? Ant and Dec.
They've done all right, haven't they?
Nice,
good on them. Well done.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. They were up here all of this week as well. There was that Sting thing, the Alan Shearer Foundation at above earlier this week.
All right.
And they were there. And then there were the Princess Trusts and things like that. So yeah. Anyway, football. Yes, let's talk about football.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think things are just hotting up, obviously, in the transfer window, following us securing the Champions League spot, which is going to be phenomenal. The season tickets renewals kind of deadline was yesterday, so those that have got them and have renewed them, I hope you've renewed them and you haven't forgot the deadline. I don't think there's going to be anyone that's going to forget anymore. And then we had one of our first big signing, Sandro Tonali, who joined us. Well, he joined us last week, but I think the official unveil was yesterday. He's a box-to-box midfielder. We spent about £55 million on him, so that's kind of strengthening one of our big areas that we needed to strengthen, and hopefully we'll get a few more through the door. I think the players come back next week.
Do they? So
yeah,
when's the first?
Well, the first match is actually about 10 days away, and it's against Gateshead.
Is it?
15th of July, and then the one after that is against Glasgow Rangers away, and we've got 8,000 fans going to that to go to a friendly match, which is just unbelievable. And then the season starts in August the 8th, so it's only a month away now, you know, it's only 4 weeks away until the season starts. And you know how
Really?
fast, yeah, it's only 4 weeks. The first game is against Aston Villa at home. So it's gonna just come
When
out.
is it? I need to put these dates in my diary then, don't I? Is it in August? Is the first match in August?
Yeah. The first match is on August, I think it's August the 8th, I think.
Oh, no, I'm away.
Are you?
Yeah.
What, on holiday?
Yeah.
First match is where is it? Where is it?
So we need to do a lot.
August the 12th, come on. It's August the 12th.
All right, I'm back. Woo!
August the 12th.
Oh my God, that's 12th of August, 5:30, Aston Villa. Whoa, I nearly had a heart attack. I nearly. It's funny that I feel like so committed, involved, engaged.
Well, of course, I think everyone is very, very engaged.
But I think that's wonderful. Yeah, so 12th of August is the first. Gosh, I better put that in the diary.
12th of August is the first game, and it's going to be such a tough game because Aston Villa are a really, really good team. They absolutely battered us away when we played them last. We beat them at home, but then that wasn't under Unai Emery, their manager. And interestingly, Unai Emery was the manager that we wanted to get before Eddie Howe, and he is a fantastic manager. It's going to be a really tough game, but hopefully we get a couple more big signings in, and we'll be able to compete, and hopefully we get off to a winning start.
Gosh. And it's a 5:30 as well, so it's a late one.
Yes, because it's on TV. A lot of our games are on TV.
And does that, well, why can't we get the earlier slot? Given the fact that we're a top flight, top 4?
No, I think the TV slot, all the big teams do play at those times because the TV moves them around, don't they? It can't be a 3 o'clock on a Saturday, so it can either be the 12 o'clock one or it has to be the evening.
Why can't it be 3 o'clock on a Saturday?
There's a law against showing matches on 3 o'clock on a Saturday because the idea is that they want people to obviously go and watch it live, and they don't want to dilute that by having the opportunity to watch it on TV. So that's where historically it came from. But that doesn't make a difference to Newcastle because even if they did show it at 3 o'clock, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden 5,000 people are going to say that, oh, we're going to watch it at home now instead of going to the stadium. That's the logic, the original thinking behind it, but maybe things have changed a lot. And maybe moving forward, they may change that as well. But they would have to change the laws that already exist. So that's why there's no live games at 3 o'clock, unless you've got one of those stick things, Ammar. You know those dodgy sticks?
No, I don't know what you're talking
about. Some people have got, I don't know much about them, but I know that some people have got those dodgy sticks that can watch the 3 o'clock games.
But how do you watch a 3 o'clock game? From where?
There's you get these sticks that, because they're showing them whilst they can't show them live in the UK.
Okay, so you can't. All right, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Anyway, that don't get involved in anything like that. Yeah, so 12th of August. And then all the fixtures out now then, obviously.
Yeah, all the fixtures are out. The Champions League ones, which is the big thing, I think they start that on it's mid-September. The Champions League which are done. So we're in we're in pot 4, which is basically, because we don't have a history in the Champions League in most recent times, you have kind of different pots. So we're in the weakest pot, which means that the other 3, most likely, we're going to get all the big teams. We're going to draw the big teams from the other pots, which would mean that we could go to, and that's probably what you want, don't you? You want to go to Real Madrid, and you want to go to Bayern Munich.
Yeah. So when will they start then? Will they be before September or after?
The draw is in September, and I think the first Champions League games is in October. So we need to kind of get our trips ready, Ammar.
Yeah, well, that's my point. As in, I need to.
The away trips. That's what we need to be doing. We need to go going around Europe.
I agree.
That's going to be, something that we have to do. So we have to be ready for when the time comes. But it's a matter of getting a hold of the away tickets.
Oh, well, it's all that. Don't worry about that. Anyway, let's do a quick business topic of the week before we hear from Vikas and the wonderful GemArts. Other things to mention, we've got this enterprise ignition next Wednesday that you're speaking at, Jalf. You're the headline speaker just behind Kai. So that'll be cool. Just a quick question and answer. What's the biggest challenges? What would you advice would you, if you looked back and thought about what have you done? Just having a bit of a conversation. I think it'd be amazing. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think a conversation is better than a talk.
Oh yeah, no, we'll just sit at the front and we'll have a bit of a Q&A and ask some questions and things like that. So that's what we'll do, and it's a beautiful venue. Honestly, I'm so excited about the venue, and can't wait to hear you as well. We'll be broadcasting that globally, and then we've got the ABC Awards, and then just thinking through some of the challenges that we've touched upon, Jalf. We've been helping so many businesses and organizations through that YOLA innovation framework, right? So businesses are like costs going up, labor going up, income going down. What type of things can we do? Well, ultimately, let's just close shop or whatever it is. But actually, there are so many alternative things that you can consider. And especially when we talk about your business model, who are your customer segments? What's your value proposition? How do you add more value? What type of things can you make more efficient? And one of the things is understanding your target market. And Jalf, you're an expert in this, aren't you? Because you'd studied marketing, you're a qualified marketeer, aren't you?
Well, you like to think so, but I think the practical world, Ammar, you can study as much as you want, but I think it's a matter of being able to implement what you study in the practical world, and you have to be able to adapt what you are taught and really kind of be versatile to be able to know that in detail, because the target audience is so important.
Yeah,
it affects everything.
Yeah, so let's just do a quick topic of the week. Let me share my screen. Share. Can you see that? Business topic of the week. So business topic of the week. Understanding your target market. In the world of business, understanding your target market is crucial for success. Conducting thorough market research enables entrepreneurs to make informed decisions and tailor their products or services to meet customer needs effectively. In this post, we explore the importance of market research for new businesses and provide practical guidance on how to understand your target market. When starting a new business, it's vital to define your ideal customer profile. This means creating a detailed picture of the individuals or companies who are most likely to buy from you. Consider factors such as demographics, psychographics, and behaviors. So age, location, gender, interests, values, lifestyles, and behaviors like shopping habits or preferences. By having a clear understanding of your target audience, you can align your strategies and offerings accordingly. Conduct primary research. Primary research involves gathering first-hand information directly from your target market. Surveys, interviews, and focus groups are effective methods to collect primary market research data. Craft well-designed survey questions or interview scripts that delve into customer preferences, pain points, and buying behaviors. Analyze the data gathered to gain deeper insights and make informed business decisions. Secondary research involves utilizing existing data and information to gain insights into the market landscape. Industry reports, government statistics, and competitor analysis are valuable sources of secondary research. By analyzing this data, you can identify industry trends, consumer behavior patterns, and competitor strategies. Such insights will help you refine your business approach and find unique selling points. Customer feedback is goldmine. Jalf, lots of businesses just don't solicit customer feedback, but you realize, like the best ones, you know, they go fill out this survey and get X of next time, or be entered in a draw, or X, Y, Z. It's that's the most rich information you can get, isn't it?
Absolutely, because you've got your customers there, your base is there, so you want to be able to know what they want, what they would prefer, and then you're able to tweak and adapt your product offer based on what your customer or what your target market wants, and that is worth the value in gold.
This is what, if you look at the most successful organizations in the world, that's what they do, don't they?
Yeah, and Ammar, it's also a matter of, you know, it's a matter of retaining your existing customer on a continuous basis, along with obviously attracting new customers. But retaining your existing customer is something that we should never undermine or underestimate.
Oh, undoubtedly. You know, for me, it's all too often we tend to concentrate on finding new customers rather than evolving the existing customer relationships that we have.
Yeah.
It's anyway, understanding your target market through effective market research is a critical step in the success of any new business. But I would argue that it's not just new businesses. Existing businesses should always validate their value proposition. So what value do they bring to their customer segments? And it's really interesting because you can see the difference between, you know, businesses like your good self, Jalf, where you test menus, you engage with your customers, you test your cocktails, you get feedback, you refine them, you then bring in world experts to use their experience. You know, you use the best of service providers for every single part of that experience, and you call it an experience rather than just simply someone coming to get fed. You know, it is that experience, and it's a joined up experience. It's the environment, it's the ambience, it's the food, it's how they treat, all of that. You know, so market research is an ongoing process. So remember to continuously monitor and adapt your strategies as your business grows. Take action today and start delving into market research to gain a competitive advantage in your industry. By understanding your target market, you're well equipped to create products and services that meet their needs, drive customer satisfaction, and fuel the growth of your new business. Remember, success begins with knowing your customers inside out, and Yola can help you do that. So a facilitated session using all of your team, you know, someone coming in, going, all right, what does success look like? So success looks like us not being forced to close down, or actually we're growing and we don't know how to sustain this growth, or we've got all of these other broader, wider environmental challenges. Well, allow us to come in and interrogate that using our world-class system and give you a roadmap, an action plan of what you could and should do to succeed. Holla for Yola and get more dollar.
Well, no, I mean, you will get more dollar if you just follow the techniques that you've just gone through, because that's so critical to a successful business. Your product must be aligned to your target audience. You get that correct and you're onto a winning formula.
Because when you see this, and actually you see the most successful organizations and businesses develop relationships, long-term, meaningful relationships where they truly know your customers. I mean, Jalf, indication of repeat customers in your business?
What, percentage-wise or? Well, one of the things is let me just try and explain that. When we're looking at our pricing strategy, there's a fine line between having a restaurant which is where guests or our customers would come on a regular basis, as opposed to them looking at it as a destination restaurant. If the price goes up too much, people are going to think, oh, I'm just going to go there for celebratory reasons. I'm going to go there occasionally because, yes, it's a super duper restaurant, but it's not within my price point to go there on a regular. So our prices for what we are is a lot lower than what it should be. But the main reason for that is to be able to ensure that our client base, our customers, are coming back to us on a regular. So I think our regular retention of our regulars is probably quite high. I would have thought depends, it varies. Neighborhood restaurant in Jesmond, there's a lot more regulars. In Kaikai and one in the city centre. In Kaikai, I think it's quite high. In Dabawal in the city centre, it's probably a little bit lower. So it does vary. But overall, it's in the forefront of our mind because we know the value of having your regulars coming back regularly. Can't hear you, Ammar.
And we do.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that we enjoy, as in we managed a midweek treat, but we don't see it as a destination type of, oh my gosh, one-off type thing. Obviously, with a family, it's always hard trying to bring kids together and do this and do that and whatever else. But it's a great experience, and we're very proud regulars of all of your restaurants, and you've got that balance right. The quality, the consistency, everything is first class. So my point is the vast majority of leisure and hospitality businesses just generally are constantly looking for new customers rather than maintaining the existing ones and developing those relationships. Because the likelihood is, right, any time I talk to anybody, I'm going to go, oh, you've got to go and try Kaikai. Oh, you've got to go to Dabawal. Oh, you're having a party, well, go there. And they're going to go, oh, we didn't even think about that. So all of a sudden, that advocacy, that word of mouth is the single best contributor to referrals and customer growth and customer gain. So the better you treat your existing customers, the more successful your business will become. And the more likelihood is you're going to get more repeat custom.
Absolutely, Ammar. And that is, if everyone can live by what you've just said, your businesses you've got guarantees to be successful. You just need to make sure that you live and breathe and set your business up in the way that you've just described.
So I'm looking forward to hearing from Vikas. Vikas Kumar is a wonderful person from the Northeast who's led on connecting culture into arts and broader, wider community, breaking down lots of barriers and such like. I mean, Jalf, you work very closely with GemArts. Why do you do that?
Well, first and foremost, I think they're a very quality-based organization. They bring some top quality, refined artists to the city. So we find that there's a synergy just on that, first and foremost. And we just like to partner up and provide a little something for a little collaboration where their guests can dine, or their artists and all the visitors have got an option to come and dine in one of the restaurants and see that collaboration. So I guess we've got our brands are aligned in some ways because we're trying catering for a quality market. And that's where the synergy probably came from. And it's been a good few years now, and we've continued that.
Which is great. I think it's wonderful to see and observe. So I'm hoping that here we are. We were just talking about the great, wonderful, victorious Vikas.
Thank you very much. That's a
Hey,
great
Vikas.
introduction. I don't know how I'm going to beat that, really.
Good
How you
morning.
doing, guys?
Yeah,
You
good.
don't have to. Don't beat it. Just join it. So,
That's right.
start by introducing yourself, who you are, what you do, why you do it.
I'm Vikas Kumar. I'm director of GemArts, and GemArts is a leading South Asian and culturally diverse arts organisation based in the Northeast. And we programme concerts, events, festivals, workshops, and develop creative artists across the Northeast and the wider community. And we run the Masala Festival, which is going to be on from the 17th to 23rd of July. And why I do it, I passionately believe in arts and culture, and also celebrating creativity and diversity, and ensuring that our audiences and everyone across the Northeast has access to some of the most amazing and best cultural opportunities that there are. So that's why I do it.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you, and thank you for doing that and continuing to be such an amazing advocate and ambassador for arts and culture, and connecting all of the communities together behind this wonderful theme and topic. Vikas, give us a highlight of your life.
Of my life, my highlight. I guess the highlight of my life, obviously, apart from when my daughter was born, I think that was like the main highlight and continues to be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I guess there's been a huge amount of highlights in terms of creativity, but again, I think getting a MBE was quite a highlight and quite a major surprise. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wasn't expecting it, didn't have a clue, but I guess for me, it also recognises the incredible work that my team, my trustees, volunteers, artists do. You know what I mean? Because we all know that you don't receive these kind of awards and accolades in isolation, that you have incredible people around you as well to ensure that they lift you, and equally we lift them. You know what I mean? And I think it is about leading by example, but also it's about ensuring that, I guess also people I guess coming from where we come from, and I speak to probably about all of us as well, I think that when we're growing up, those sort of things were kind of felt really out of our reach, but also I think it will inspire the next generation as well and raise aspirations for them, hopefully. You know what I mean? I think absolutely so yeah, so that probably is personally one of the highlights, but equally that's sort of comes together with everything I do at GemArts and what we're about.
Great. And highlights for GemArts?
Okay, so the highlight of GemArts is a past one or coming up. Do both. I think, well, the most recent highlight was just last Saturday. To be honest, we've been running our youth music program across the east and west end of Newcastle, and also in Gateshead, working with young people living in really challenging circumstances. And we've been giving them opportunities to access high quality music with professional music leaders over the last 4 years. And that culminated at the weekend with 200 young people at the Sage Gateshead performing across all sorts of genres, from rock, pop, hip hop, grime, to gypsy folk, Roma music, to all sorts of music. And it was just, and again, lots of those communities and families, that was the first time they ever sort of came to the Sage Gateshead as well. So we put buses on so that they could get there, so that it would prevent sort of any sort of transport barriers, or sort of for them to get there. We put on some great food, and it was an incredible celebration of amazing young talent within our community. So that was one of the most recent highlights. And again, when I was on stage, I sort of reflected on the fact that the program was meant to start in just before COVID, and then COVID came across and all our lives changed, where we weren't even able to sort of be in a room together, let alone sing and play instruments. And people had to adapt, especially young people, our music leaders as well, who are all freelancers, who basically lost all their income overnight. You know what I mean? And I think, I guess from where we started off and 4 years later, in terms of how we work collectively and as a unit, as a team, to get there was huge. Well, was a hugely proud moment. So yeah, so that's the most recent highlight.
amazing. And I love that, right? Because that's what it's all about. And it demonstrates the inclusiveness of GemArts. It has to be focused on future generations. It has to be about changing those beliefs and behaviors and addressing those barriers in younger generations, because inevitably they're going to become our older generations, and hopefully then will positively influence their future generations as well. So it's interesting because you mentioned sort of our own experiences and how everything that certainly the three of us can probably say with all honesty, we wouldn't be sat where we are doing what we're doing. I mean, Jalf's arguably the most successful restaurateur, one of the ones in the whole of the UK, and it's certainly literally a gem of our northeast as to what Jalf's done. So when he was being a chaiwala in his late father's restaurant, running around, did he ever and dealing with the type of customers that came in and whatever that happened, as I was getting chased from Murray House by the Alsatians, and
that was me.
All right, yeah, well, you still got the dogs, but anyway, well, none of us expected any of this, did we? So it's wonderful to see, but doing it for the right reasons, as in doing it for the value that we've brought, as opposed to, oh gosh, look at us. And I think it's beautiful. Because you should be really proud, and I'm certainly proud and grateful for the work that you do, engaging with so many. And the future one. So give me a future highlight.
So so we've got a Masala Festival coming up, which starts a week on Monday, really, and it's incredible how fast this year's gone. To be honest, I just I can still remember last year's festival, let alone coming up to like a week just before this year's festival. I think I always hear both you on your on the radio show as well, just saying, and just generally everyone saying how fast time goes. You know what I mean? Like how there's it's just whizzing by, but. Essentially, we're really excited about the festival starting on Monday. So that kicks on the 17th. That kicks off at Dance City with the launch of Roshni, and that celebrates brilliance and light, because Roshni means brilliance and light in Urdu, Punjabi, and also in Persian as well. And Sonia Sabri is an incredible dance company, and they'll be performing there and launching the festival. We've got some incredible music coming up as well during this week. So we're working in partnership with BBC Proms and the Sage Gateshead.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, so tell us a bit more about that, because that is an incredible collaboration, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I think so. Last year they did, I think, a weekend or a night proms at the Sage Gateshead, and obviously we've got a long, brilliant collaboration and history of programming exceptional music there. And I guess it was just, again, in terms of ensuring that we diversify the program and ensure that our communities are represented in international venues as well, and also the BBC Prom. So the conversation was had, and we just thought, all right, it'd be a great opportunity to partner up with Masala Festival and showcase an evening of music with some of the best jazz players. So Aaron Ghosh and Yaz Ahmed are just prolific, incredible musicians. You know what I mean? Like sort of, they've got influences from their own backgrounds, but equally playing across sort of jazz, rock, and sort of electronic music as well. So that's a late night gig at the Sage Gateshead. And that
when is that? When is that?
That is on the Friday, the 21st of July. So that's 10. So that starts a bit later. It's about 9:30 till 11 o'clock about, but you can find out all the details on our website as well. So if you haven't already bought that.
Which is what? What's your website?
Which is GemArts.org.
So let me just, can I put that in the chat? GemArts, is it here? No, we haven't got a slide either. So I'm going to say, so GemArts. Is that right?
Yep, GemArts.
I've been spending too much time with the kids, Jalf, as well.
Yeah.
So GEMARTS.org.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
right.
So the festival starts on Monday the 17th. Kicks off at Dance City, is that right? With
That's
what?
right. And then in between, we've got all sorts of stuff happening, including we've got a great partnership again with Dabawal, who will be sort of creating a fantastic menu for the festival. I'm actually going for a meeting with Jeff straight after here as well, just to sort of
Tasting session.
plan. Yeah,
Oh.
just plan for that. I guess as well, we've got some great performances around Monument at Tyneside Cinema. So I'd absolutely urge all your listeners as well, if they're going to go to any of those events in and around there, pop into Dabawal and taste the Masala Festival menu and get those vibes going before you get there or go after as well. And we've got, we've got some great partnerships with the new university. So we've got a poetry event there called Out of Sri Lanka. So again, part of the festival as well is to ensure that we celebrate all parts of South Asia, because again, in terms of the predominantly sort of communities here, they're Indian, Pakistani and Bangladeshi, but equally, there's people from Sri Lanka, there's people from other areas of the South Asia as well, including Nepal and other places who are settled in the UK and also within the Northeast. So to ensure that we represent those as well. I think we've got a great event as well for kids at the end of the festival on the Sunday. So we've got our mini Mela that happens at Benjamin Grove, and we've brought together 4 amazing publishers that are producing and publishing books that are relevant to young people, British young people as well from South Asian background. So we've got Block Books, which is a fantastic Bangladeshi publisher as well, British Bangladeshi publisher. We've got Adidev Press, who are British Indian publishers, and we've got Parakeet Books, or Pakistani British publishers as well. And essentially all their books reference, I guess, South Asian sort of heroes or stories or narratives, which I guess when we were growing up, we never saw in any kind of books really. So it's really great to celebrate that, and also for young people to see themselves in literature at a very early age. So if you've got young kids, and if anyone really school age or whatever it is, and you want something to do, it's the first day of the summer holidays, pop down to our mini Mela. There's going to be free food there. There's going to be lots of creative activities, and it's all absolutely free on Sunday, the 23rd of July.
Excellent.
Right, we're going to be coming up to the end of the show, so we need to do an end of the show. Have you seen that next Saturday night takeaway thing? They do so we all have to sing now, don't we? Obviously, because I'll play the glass. You can sing, honey.
Jeff, what's Jeff going to do then?
He'll do the dole or something like that. He'll do a dabba. That's what he'll do. Anyway, it's wonderful to have you on the show, because I think it's. I'm just looking at the website now. I think I might even, with Jeff, come to that event on the 21st of July. Especially if it starts at 10 till 11:45. It's way past my bedtime. I'll probably turn into a pumpkin. But it equally means that it doesn't interfere. You must have organised it with Jeff, because it doesn't interfere with his restaurant. If you ask him to do anything on a Friday or a Saturday, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like couldn't possibly do that.
Jeff can come on to close, can't you, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get him out. We'll get him out of his bedtime, story time. And then get him out.
Yeah, we'll do that. Especially if we're going to meet Aaron Ghosh and Yaz Ahmed. Yeah. So we'll looking forward to that. And especially their music. So I'll have to get some tickets. Obviously, I want to say.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.